On call meeting of Lawrence County Council, March 10th, 2015, meeting to order. As always, we have our invocation tonight by Councilman Jones, and then we have our pledge of allegiance. And after we have our pledge of allegiance, Mr. Nash has got something he wants to say, so we'll have our invocation first.
Join me in a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity you've given us to serve the people of Lawrence County. Please help us to choose the path of righteousness, keeping you in all that we do. Help us to do unto others as we would have them do unto us. Please keep Mr. Kruger's family in mind, and please just offer them comfort in this terrible time. Please also keep Mr. McDaniel and his family, and just put your hands over their family and just put them at ease. Please watch over all of our firefighters, EMS, medics, police officers, and everybody who serves this county. Please help us keep you in all that we do, dear Father. Amen.
Amen. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sure is good to have a good crowd here tonight. We had a man this past week that's a volunteer fireman with Green Pond, and he has got a couple of words he wants to say about it. He was a volunteer fireman. He cut a tree down and fell on it and killed him.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We want to remember a young man, 25 years old, named Daniel Kruger. He was a probationary firefighter with Green Pond Fire Department. Over the weekend, he was cutting a tree on Wham Long and Tractor Road. There was an accident and the tree fell on him, killing him. His body has been sent home to New York. This family, in fact, had just bought a farm over there in Green Pond and was getting settled in. But after the tree fell on him, they sent his body back to New York to home for funeral burial. Green Pond Fire Department will have a memorial service for him one day next week. Time of memorial service will be announced later. Okay. Thank you. Remember him in their prayers.
Thank you, Ted. Before I start the meeting too, I just like to welcome Mr. Steve Brown. He's chairman of Greenwood County Council. We'll just welcome him to our meeting tonight. To start with, we're going to approve our agenda. I think we've got one item we're going to add to the agenda tonight.
That's right, Mr. Chairman. A legal, as part of the executive session, there'll be one employment matter and one legal briefing from the county attorney.
All right, I'll entertain a motion for approval of the agenda with the added item.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as submitted with the inclusion of the additional item.
We have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Five zero. Mr. Thompson is not with us tonight. He was away on work tonight. Next thing we're going to do is approval of our minutes for February the 20th, February the 24th, February the 27th, with any additions. I'll ask for a motion for approval.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion, we got a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Are there any corrections to our minutes? If none, all approved, raise your right hand. with tonight, Chad Burrell, front and center. Joey Avery too. And anybody else that's with the EMS in Lawrence County. I just can't tell you and your service how proud I am of what y'all accomplished this past week.
Thanks, sir.
And, Chad got a small plaque, but what's so large about it's the words on it. The EMS Service of the Year for 2014. I'm gonna let Chad say something now.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of council. Hope everyone's doing well this evening. I have prepared a presentation. I will try to be brief. Before I begin my presentation, I would like to take the opportunity to provide a short synopsis of our department. Lawrence County EMS was established on May 1st, 1976 to provide more consistent medical care to the citizens of Lawrence County, and originally began with one ambulance providing only basic life support. Today, the system has grown to 4 ALS transport ambulances on duty 24 hours a day, supplemented by an additional power shift ALS transport ambulance and 4 paramedic quick response vehicles. Our service responds to over 13,000 calls a year and serves with dedicated professional staff, men and women, which includes 36 paramedics and 20 EMTs. Each year, nominations are taken for various EMS awards in South Carolina and presented at the annual South Carolina EMS Symposium. The awards committee consists of individuals from the South Carolina EMS Association, South Carolina DHEC Division of EMS, the American College of Emergency Physicians, the South Carolina EMS Educators Association, and South Carolina 4 regional EMS training centers, which include Upstate EMS Council, South Carolina Midlands EMS Management Association, PD Regional EMS Council, and the Low Country EMS Council. Once nominations are received by this committee, they begin the nominating process of selecting recipients of these prestigious awards. One of these awards was created to honor and recognize one ambulance service out of the many in South Carolina, which exemplifies outstanding professionalism and service to its community, which Lawrence County EMS demonstrates on a daily basis. Not only serving daily in the realm of pre-hospital medicine, Lawrence County EMS participates in various community service projects, such as a recent flag football challenge where Lawrence County EMS was victorious against the Sheriff's Office. Sorry. This event was in support of the John Love Foundation, which focuses on suicide prevention specific to our community. Members of our command staff recently volunteered and provided medical support functions for Honor Flight Upstate South Carolina. The Honor Flight program provides opportunities for World War II and Korean War veterans to see the memorials built in their honor in Washington, D.C., and experience recognition for their service that literally saved the world. Lawrence County EMS personnel volunteer for the Special Olympics every year, which is held at Presbyterian College. Our agency participated in conjunction with the Lawrence County Sheriff's Office to produce a professional video production for DUI awareness to hopefully minimize the often devastating effects of DUIs. We also work with other municipalities and organizations to develop community safety programs and EMS education for injury prevention throughout Lawrence County. Lawrence County EMS also recently partnered with Piedmont Technical College, where we provide EMT classes at our main training facility on South Harper Street. Due to this partnership, scholarship programs are made available to area fire department personnel for each EMT class that we hold. While these programs are of importance, it's the daily impact we make with the citizens that we serve. While our service receives many thank you cards and letters, I would like to take the time, if I may, to just read a few of these. To the members of Lawrence County EMS, I would like to thank those members and EMTs who responded to a motor vehicle accident on State Road 49. The driver was my husband on his way to work at 7 a.m. that morning. Your quick response and professional aid until AirMed arrived is greatly appreciated. Special thanks to the EMTs who answered the cell phone when I called. Another special thanks to the EMTs who took the time to answer my inquiries. Your kindness and special skills are greatly appreciated. Last Friday, EMS responded to my mother's residence. She was in respiratory distress, and the paramedics who took care of her that night should be really commended. They treated her quickly, professionally, and above all, kindly. The family would like to extend our utmost appreciation to the EMS crew in Lawrence County EMS. Thank you so much. And this last letter is actually from a nurse from Spartanburg Regional Hospital. Dear EMS family, my name is Elizabeth Pruitt. I'm an ER nurse at Spartanburg Regional. We have probably all encountered one another at some point in time, even if we don't remember each other. I was traveling through Lawrence on Thursday, October 16th, and I won't forget the encounter with your team. I witnessed an unfortunate accident involving an older gentleman in an SUV on I-26. I stopped to help until you could get there. I do plenty of trauma, but out in the field was a totally different experience. I just wanted to thank and commend your team for what you've done and what you do before the patient gets to the ERs. I watched your team handle the situation with ease, including calling a helicopter and intubating someone sitting in a driver's seat while crushed under the dashboard. Each of you involved was a hero. I know you never think like you deserve, so I wanted to be sure to give some appreciation for how hard you worked at a difficult job. Thanks, Steve Pruitt. Why do I bring these examples to your attention? These are just a few examples of the service that our agency provides to Lawrence County. And it is for these reasons that I'm privileged to be part of such a great EMS service. It is with great honor to announce that these examples are just a few that led to Lawrence County EMS being selected and presented the 2014 Large EMS System of the Year Award by the South Carolina EMS Network Awards Committee. Here's the plaque. We'll pass that around. Jordan.
Does anybody on council want to make a comment? Dave? You?
Just want to thank everything that y'all are doing and continue doing it. And please let me know how I can help with growing the service, helping more people in areas of the county that we can get to. Thank you.
Ms. Andrews?
I just want us to give them applause for what all they've done.
I'd like to reiterate, big thank you for a job well deserved.
One thing I like to say about our EMS service, we may not be perfect, we just next thing to it. Thank y'all very much. And I asked Joey to come up, he runs 911 center, and he tells them where to go. Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you all very much for your support.
Next thing on our agenda tonight is a public hearing, ordinance 781. It is an ordinance consenting to the assignment of interest on various incentive agreements with Lawrence County and Unicycle, Project Flex LLC, and Glideshine International. Authorizing amendment of that certain infrastructure finance agreement dated January 1st between Lawrence County and Unicycle, LLF, and Glideshine International, and all other matters related thereto. Public hearing is now open. If we don't have anybody to speak for our public hearing, we'll close the public hearing, and I'll ask for a motion for third reading on ordinance 781.
So moved.
Got a motion, we got a second? Second. Got a motion and a second, any discussion? Ms. Pitt?
I think it's worth noting that this is an additional $20 million infused into our county, and I think that needs to be noted. No further comments, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Andrews? Ms. Jones? Ms. Knight?
No comments at this time.
Everybody's quiet tonight. Well, I'll ask for a vote now on third reading ordinance 781. All approved, raise your right hand. None opposed? 5-0. Now we got a, next thing on our agenda is proposed overview for our Greenwood treatment plant, Mr. Jeff Field, Orange County Water and Sewer Committee. I believe he brought his people with him tonight.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of council. we did make it a little nervous there to begin with, trying to get this presentation started, because it's not really worth it without just listening to me talk. I would like to also recognize Steve Brown. Appreciate him being here tonight. He's heard part of this, or most of this presentation, and we're grateful for him being here. I would also like to recognize folks from our office, our chairman, Ted Davenport, and Commissioners Wofford Woods and Bill Teague, along with staff. These three gentlemen make up our Capital Improvements Committee. And from Goodwin Mills and Kaywood, our consultant for this project, Mr. Kevin Laird, and on this side of the house, Marie Dodd. Kevin is our project manager for this project. So, on behalf of the Lawrence County Water and Sewer Commission, I do thank you for this opportunity to be here tonight to discuss this important project. This treatment facility is the largest and most important project ever developed by the LCWSC and is necessary for the future viability of Lawrence County. Some of you may be familiar with this project. I know it's been discussed off and on a preliminary basis for several years now, but as you can tell from our introductions that we have hired a consultant, and this project is now moving forward in earnest with a deliberate schedule. For this reason, the LCWSC is now meeting with potential stakeholders that may benefit or be affected by this project, which brings us here tonight. We have a brief presentation, but I hope an informative presentation that will provide a good foundation for our project and illustrate some of the partnership benefits for both counties. The presentation will try to address any of the questions we anticipate you might have, but we'll be glad to answer additional questions after the presentation. So we'll go ahead and get started. As technology continues to work. Give you a little background on who we are, where we serve, and our current customer base. I hope most of you can see this. With the exception of the city of Lawrence, Clinton, and Gray Court, our service area is all of Lawrence County and a southern portion of Greenville County. As indicated by a lot of blue dots there, we currently serve 14,700 taps, and which is really most of our service area. The areas down here, of course, the National Forest, and a very rural part of Lawrence County, but all of these blue dots, even up into Greenville County here, represent our water customer base. As with any rural county, public sewer service can be cost prohibitive without some contributing capital from some source. So our sewer service area is more confined to around the cities and Joanna, and where we are more prone to have industrial development, like Owens Industrial Park. We pride ourselves in doing our part in promoting growth and economic development in all parts of Lawrence County, and the project we're discussing tonight will allow us to achieve this goal by providing a sustainable source of water to meet the future demands of Lawrence County. In 2009, we hired a consultant to perform a water resource master plan. The master plan looked at all available water resources and compared them to our future needs over the next 50 years. The master plan determined that current water resources are not sustainable for our growth. And based off these findings, it was clear that our responsibility was to secure adequate water resources to serve future generations. In developing the master plan, again, we evaluated all existing and potential water sources in the county. We even considered alternatives such as purchasing more water from existing suppliers. In the end, it was obvious that the only long-term viable alternative for us was Lake Greenwood. As I mentioned, we did look at additional water from current and even prospective suppliers. This alternative was not attractive for several reasons. A new facility, as the largest water provider in Lawrence County with over 14,700 taps, we are large enough that producing our own water is more cost effective. A new facility built from the ground up will use new but proven technology that will allow us to better meet existing and future regulations. Operating and maintaining our own facility will allow us to have more control over future expenses and thus future rates. We will also be more accountable for water quality provided to our customers. While Lake Greenwood Lake Greenwood is a well-managed reservoir with a reliable and robust watershed, and we will share some statistics later on in the presentation that demonstrate that fact. The quality and treatability of the source water is great and continues to improve as upstream issues are addressed and improved upon. Lake Greenwood, with its available capacity, is the only source that can meet our future water demands. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our project manager, Kevin Laird, to go into some project specifics.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you all for your time. Appreciate being here. As Jeff mentioned, the project location on Lake Greenwood, Water and Sewer Commission has secured a 6-acre site, so they own this piece of property. I'll go into in the next slide exactly where that is. And about 1.5 to 2 miles away, they've already secured a 32-acre parcel for the treatment facility. And again, that is right near the intersection of 221 and 72. So this gives you an indication of where the water treatment facility is going to be located and where the intake. Of course, that's Highway 72 crosses the lake right there. These are just a few examples of the treatment facility. These are some that we have done in the past. All of these are enclosed. These are all indoors. This is an example of a intake pump house that we've done in the past. I'll have another example of one, but it will be a submerged type intake, and I can go into that here in just a second. This just gives you an example of what the treatment facility will look like. And as Jeff mentioned, the ability to use new technology is something that we feel like we can greatly take advantage of. Stay on the intake for a second. So I talked about it being submerged intake. The next slide will show you a graphic of what that looks like. The pump house, we can design the pump house like a lake house. It can look like a lake house. So one thing it will not look like is it won't look like a bridge type intake. It sticks out of the water. It's something that's very visible from the lake. So this is an example, and this is actually a project that we did on the FERC-controlled lake, and this is a submerged type intake. So really all you see from the water body are marking buoys, and the pump house, as I mentioned, can be designed to look like a lake house. So should be very architecturally pleasing with all the equipment inside. So why is Lake Greenwood so reliable? Well, it has a total watershed of nearly 500,000 acres. To give you a frame of reference, Lake Kiowee has about a watershed of 250,000 acres, so about double the watershed of Lake Kiowee, which means that it has the ability to significantly withstand drought conditions. It has an average daily flow just from the two major rivers that flow into it of 1,440 CFS. There are other tributaries and such that flow into the lake. Just from those two rivers, it's 1,440 CFS. So the surface area is over 11,000 acres, and the total volume is a bunch. It's over 68 billion gallons. Something that is very interesting, currently Lawrence County Water and Sewer Commission utilizes water from Lake Raven. So if you're aware where Lake Raven is, it's up here. Flows Raven Creek below the confluence of the Reedy into Lake Greenwood. So you have the Saluda arm and you have the Reedy arm, and the Raven Creek comes in right below where the Reedy comes in. So with this new intake on Lake Greenwood, Lawrence County Water and Sewer Commission will cease this usage from Lake Raven. So they will not be using that, so that water that they would have used will be flowing into Lake Greenwood. So how much water? Well, like I said earlier, their average daily flow, just those two rivers, as you saw from that last graphic, there are other tributaries that come into the lake. But obviously, the two major rivers is 1,440 CFS, cubic feet per second. The average usage by Lake Greenwood, from Lake Greenwood, by the Water and Sewer Commission will be approximately 6 cubic feet per second. So pretty insignificant amount in the scheme of things. And just to show you how insignificant, if the flow from those two rivers completely ceased, somebody tomorrow dammed them up and didn't allow any water to go through, it would take 2.5 months for the lake to drop just 1 inch from Lawrence County Water and Sewer Commission at their maximum usage. So as I say, it's a very insignificant amount out of the lake. So what's the next step? Well, right now we are currently preparing some documentation for Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, that's FERC, and a DHEC surface water withdrawal permit. We anticipate this to be a 1.5 to 2 year permitting process. We're currently performing water testing, and as Jeff mentioned, we are scheduling several public meetings with stakeholders. And we will be performing pilot studies of different treatment technologies to best fit the Lake Greenwood water catch. There you go.
Any other questions? Yes.
Sure, sure.
So, let's make sure that works. We kind of talk about the benefits of this project, not just from our perspective, but from Lawrence and Greenwood County as being a lot of partnership benefits for both counties. The Lawrence County Water and Sewer Commission is and will continue to be a great advocate for connecting Lake Greenwood and the surrounding Lakelands community. This project will create a stronger, united voice for addressing any upstream concerns, which can be difficult sometimes to address, especially when they are across jurisdictional boundaries. So stormwater standards, wastewater discharges, and other best management practices, all of which affect the quality and the quantity of water in Lake Greenwood. Anytime these issues need to be addressed, two voices have a stronger voice than one. Apologize for that. Lake Greenwood is the greatest natural resource for both counties, and the LCWSC will be an active partner in promoting and preserving this important resource. And finally, this project is our best and really only option to provide us capacity to sustain future growth in Lawrence County. So with that, we'll answer any questions you might have.
Jeff, I just like to tell you how much I appreciate the forward thinking on this. Water's something we can't do without. If you was out in the middle of the ocean, you had a chance to get $1 million or a quart of water, I believe you'd take a quart of water. But I just want to let you know, and I appreciate you working with Greenwood County on this. And all. Is anybody on council got any questions for Mr. Jeff?
Thank you. Mr. Fields, just out of curiosity, what are the effects on Lake Raven? Is Lake Raven gonna, would it drain, or would that, or Lake Raven stay the same with, because the water supply would be going down Lake Raven?
The CPW would continue to use Lake Raven, and I think the lake is matched fairly well for their treatment capacity. Our demand would shift downstream, so whatever part of the concern and reason behind this project is, as our demand continues to grow along with the CPW's demand, there is a potential that Lake Raven would suffer, particularly during drought years. And so yes, this shifts that burden from Lake Raven, does away with it, and moves it down to where there's a lot more water available for us, but the CPW would continue to use Lake Raven. So from our perspective, I guess it sort of keeps Lake Raven somewhat intact.
Mr. David?
No, I've been through all this 4 years ago. I understand what they're fighting, and long as Greenwood survives, we'll survive. And no way Greenwood survive if we will survive if Greenwood survives. That's where most of the water goes down the Greenwood.
Talking about people.
Yeah. And they have some of the cleanest water coming out of those plants that are in the United States on that waste now.
Every significant body of water is used for drinking water at some point has a treatment facility upstream.
That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Andrews? Mr. Pettit?
Mr. Field, of course, the big question is how will this project be financed?
Revenue bonds. We did adopt a 5-year capital rate plan this past year. This is the first year of that rate plan. And as we continue through pilot testing, trying to maximize the capital project expenses with our O&M expenses, that cost will become more and more in focus, and we'll adjust our finance plans accordingly.
Thank you.
I've got one question, if you don't mind. That 30-acre site on 221, is that on the, is it on 72-221? The 30, where the plant?
It touches, it's really Good Hope Baptist Church Road, which kind of comes across. It's a small, narrow road that goes from 72 to 221. Our road frontage is on that road. It comes closest to 221. It's very close to it's almost that entire width of that road.
The raw water will be pumped from your intake on Lake Greenwood to that plant will be treated and distributed.
That's correct.
That's correct.
Is it not true, Jeff, that, the plans that you already put in, put up, most of this money will be raised before we ever even build this plant, right?
That's our intent. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so, that's what I like to follow with them. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your comment.
Anybody else?
Let me ask Jeff to explain the tax that everybody countywide pays on their tax notices, what it's for, those special.
The current tax for the Owen Sewer Geo Bond,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it's for when Owens Park was developed. As I talked about in my opening comments, public sewer in a rural county is typically very challenging because of the lack of population. And you need some other contributed capital of some sort to make that happen. And so when Owens Industrial Park was developed, it needed sewer service to be successful. And that's really the only way to pay for it. It goes typically just for that project. As soon as the bond is retired, tax comes off, unless we find another project that's worthy to continue that. But it's for capital. It's not for O&M. It's not for anything in our office. It will not fund this project.
Anything else? Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate all y'all coming tonight and presenting that to us.
Thank you.
Next thing on our agenda tonight is Jason Taverner, Lawrence County Disability Special Needs.
Mr. Chairman and Council, thank you for the opportunity to come tonight before you. For March, as a declaration is Disability Awareness Month. I come to you tonight as the Executive Director for the Disability Special Needs Board, but more importantly, I want to say thank you on behalf of people with lifelong disabilities for this proclamation. The goal of the proclamation is two parts. One, to raise awareness that people with disabilities are a viable part of our community. People that work, people that attend church, want to be a part of our community and give back. That's part of this proclamation. The other part is for those that provide care, whether it be paid staff or the Disability Special Needs Board or the primary caregivers, which are families. I want to raise awareness for their efforts to keep their loved ones at home in our county. In total, we support about 570 people right now in Lawrence County. That number is growing. So thank you for your help in raising the awareness and hopefully opportunities for that group of people.
Well, thank you, Jason. And we've got a resolution in front of us. It's 2015-02, declaring March 2015 Disabilities Awareness Month. Could we get a motion for that?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion, we have a second. We got a motion and a second. Does anybody need to discuss it? I'd just like to say that I appreciate what you do for our people in Lawrence County. And I appreciate the board.
Sir. And one of our members here, I appreciate you saying, I neglected, Janice Tripp was here tonight representing our board of
Yeah.
directors.
Well, I really appreciate our board. It's a thankless job. They don't get paid anything, but they do a great job. I'll ask for the vote on resolution 2015-02. All in favor, raise your right hand. Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thanks, Jay. Next thing on our agenda is Greg Alexander, Lawrence County Cleanup Day.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of County Council. We're going to try to get this presentation to the next slide. Yep. While Amanda is swapping that out, I would like to say thank you for giving us a few minutes. I'd like to bring you up to date on what a lot of folks are doing. It's not just about the chamber, it's about community effort. So at this time, I'd like to ask everyone who either has participated in cleanups or is on the beautification committee, stand up if you don't mind. You deserve to be recognized. Thank you very much. But I would like the committee to stay standing because I'm going to introduce you. And if I go blank, somebody just yell it out. But Chief Sonny Letta, Mayor Sharon Brownlee, Marlene Owens, who's on staff, Amanda Munyon, Sheriff Ricky Chastain, you sat down. And if I've left somebody out, I apologize. But this is our steering committee, so I'll go ahead with that and get started. The Beautification Committee of the Chamber was established in 2010 as a permanent committee of our Chamber boards. We created 4 parts to this. First is cleanups. They're quarterly cleanups. 75 tons of trash have been removed from the roadways of Lawrence County since 2011. Hard to tell sometimes, but it's true, unfortunately. Education. 1,400 third graders already in the past 2 years have been to the Joe Adair Center and learned about proper landfill use, recycling, water table, all those things. Go home and tell mom and dad, don't throw that out on the road. Well, it can kill the animals. I mean, there's many, many harmful effects of that. So that's 2 pieces. Beautification. Take a roadway piece of property, try to plant flowers, shrubs, really make it a place to be proud of. And our 4th piece is enforcement. And as you see, the sheriff is here tonight, as well as the police chief from the city of Lawrence. They, along with Public Safety Director Robin Morris, have come together and made a pledge to enforce violations of litter in our county. If their officers or deputies find somebody littering, they'll be fined, and they will be basically come down to maybe do some community service or pay a fine, whatever the case may be. But in 2015, we are teaming together with the Sheriff's Office, Lawrence County Administration, City of Clinton, Clinton Public Safety, City of Lawrence, Lawrence Police Department, Main Street Lawrence, Town of Great Court, and the citizens of Waterloo, Cross Hill, Joanna, Kynards, and Fountain Inn. And what I'm excited about, there are groups out there from every corner of our county, not just the county seat or Clinton or so forth. And we are continuing to get tough on those who trash our community. Each of these agencies and municipalities have implemented programs to pick up trash left by others. As we mentioned, educate our children and warn violators of the consequences of unlawfully throwing out our garbage or their garbage. Now, on Saturday, March 21st, we are asking citizens, churches, families, and businesses to join us right here on the steps of the courthouse at 9 a.m. For the largest single-day cleanup in the history of Lawrence County. Funded by a Palmetto Pride grant, we have been able to secure T-shirts, pickup sticks, and other supplies, vehicle trash bags, anti-litter decals for folks to use when they come and register. We thank each of you Lawrence County Council members, specifically along with Mr. Scott Holland and Mr. Ernie Seegers, who have been instrumental since day one in the support of this program with your convenience sites and your bins. Thank you very much. That's where the 75 tons have gone. And if it weren't for you, we wouldn't be able to do that. Quickly, I'd like to run through this as well. Our motto this year is, we ain't gonna take it. I won't perform the song for you tonight, but that's our motto. And as you can see, together, we're gonna make it. We are truly a unified force, countywide, and committed to cleaning up and showing pride in our county. This logo represents our efforts, and it can be seen in all of Lawrence County's convenience sites on these special bins I mentioned earlier. March 21st will represent our largest cleanup effort in the history of the county. These flyers, if you have been anywhere to any store in Lawrence County, I think you've seen them either posted on the doors or the handouts, and the Sheriff's Department's done a great job of this. They're everywhere in most businesses across the county, as well as have gone out in trash bills for the city of Lawrence, thanks to the city. We encourage everyone to join us at 9 a.m. and make a difference. Routes will be determined by the Lawrence Police Department, and transportation will be provided by the trolley. We ask everyone to gather around 9 here at the courthouse for the kickoff. If you have other areas in the county that you clean, great. Come get your supplies, go clean your other areas, and come back to the amphitheater at 11:30 for lunch and bring your family. We'll record the number of bags picked up at that point. The Chamber Beautification Committee did receive $6,000 grant. As you can see, this funded the pickup sticks, t-shirts, and trash bags and decals. This is the image of the back of our t-shirts that you'll see around the county. Trash bag design. And again, over 5,000 flyers have been printed and distributed throughout the county. We plan to capture volunteer names and zip codes and record the number of bags collected. So hopefully we can receive future grants moving forward. And again, just to reiterate, our 4 components of the work of the Beautify Lawrence County Committee are to clean, educate, enforce, and beautify. And I appreciate each of your support for this effort. Any questions or comments on that piece? Okay. If not, then I would like to move into the next thing that is completely different from that committee, and I'd like to ask Dr. Cynthia Pitts, she is the chairman of our Workforce Development Committee, to please come forward. Dr. Pitts.
Thank you, Greg. We wanted to bring forth a certification and share with everybody about the South Carolina Work Ready Communities. In December of 2014, Lawrence County became certified as a Work Ready community, and this achievement provides a framework to strengthen economic development using a community-based approach. In becoming a South Carolina Work Ready community, Lawrence County had to reach or exceed the goals, and we exceeded by about 5 times our goals. For the categories of National Career Readiness Certificates, and those 4 components are Work Keys assessments to earn a National Career Readiness Certificate, business support, graduation rates or improvements over a 3-year average for both Clinton and Lawrence high schools, and then soft skills. We had to have 25% of our individuals taking a special talent assessment. We have met these specified workforce and education goals, demonstrating to businesses a strong workforce and commitment to economic growth, thus allowing Lawrence County to market itself to new and existing businesses. With the businesses, there are specific employer benefits to being a work-ready community. Those benefits reduce cost to hire and time to hire, improving training time and cost, reducing employee turnover, increasing productivity and reducing inefficiency, allocating internal training budgets, and hourly worker succession planning. Now that we are certified, we move on to the next steps, of course, always looking over the horizon to what's next, and we go into developing a maintenance plan. This will be structured similarly to the initial certification plan with a recommitment from our businesses and even more new business support. So we wanted to present this to the Lawrence County Council, and Mr. Chairman,
Is it appropriate to do that now?
accept this.
I guess I'll ask David to come up with this.
No, he's seen one of those.
And thank you so much. And as Dr. Pitt said, on behalf of the Lawrence County Chamber of Commerce, our board, our staff, and our Workforce Development Committee, we thank you. We thank you all for your support, and wanted to present this certificate to you.
I appreciate it. We'll put it on the wall.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
I'd have to say litter is a big problem. I live north on 25, probably 2.5 miles, 3 miles north of Burger King. And I think I'm a dumping ground for Burger King. When people finishes a sandwich, they toss it out, and most of my trash is Burger King trash.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to just thank Mr. Alexander for all the work he does. He's been president of the Chamber of Commerce for a number of years now and involved in a number of projects, and I think he is a force for good to this county, and I want to commend him for what he does, and I thank him for the service he provides.
Has anybody on council got any comment? Okay, next thing on our agenda, Mr. Kerry Bowden. The Veterans Fair.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to start off by thanking Lawrence County Council for the Purple Heart resolution. I'd like to let you know that the governor of South Carolina has asked all the counties to recognize the Purple Heart Medal for our nation's oldest decoration created by General George Washington in 1782. By doing this, it shows that South Carolina's continued support for all of our veterans, and especially those on active duty. By showing our nation that South Carolina is a veteran-friendly state, it will allow our governor to continue fighting for more benefits for our veterans. And I'd like to conclude by saying that the state of South Carolina will be the second state in the union to complete this project.
Okay, I appreciate it. I'll ask for a motion for resolution 2015-03.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. I think this is very good for Lawrence County. I appreciate what Veterans Affairs does for our veterans. We'd be in bad shape without them. But I'll ask for a motion for resolution 2015-03. I don't get the motion. Okay. All in favor, raise your right hand. Any opposed?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Got a lot on my plate tonight. Thank you, Kerry. Next thing on our agenda tonight is second reading Lawrence County Ordinance 783. This is an ordinance to appeal, amend, repeal, and restate the status of Lawrence County emergency services and other matters thereto. This is basically taking 6 ordinances and making one. I'll ask for a motion for second reading Lawrence County Ordinance 783.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we do 783.
We got a motion, we have a second.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Discussion, Mr. Knapp.
Well, it's a long time in coming, and we sure need to clean up this, and what this 783 does. And to completely reinstate the status of Orange County EMS, for the later matters pertaining to that too. So, we have to make a motion to move forward with 783 on the second reading.
Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. After much thought and deliberation on 783, I've met with private providers, our county services, Director Burrell and Director Avery, and I just sat down and talked with everybody. And I think if we had a procedures and protocols guide online for our county EMS, it can answer a lot of these questions that are coming up. Everything from hospital choice to priority response for ambulances, of where the nearest ambulance is going to be coming from, and things like that. I have full faith in our county service, and I know they are, after sitting down and talking with them, I respect what they're doing, and they answered a lot of questions for me. So the reservation I have with the resolution is where it says that the county has the exclusive right to provide these services. It goes on to say in there that they're also going to work with private providers through partnerships and so forth. So I think that's a really positive thing. So I'm going to support this resolution, and that's all I've got, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Angie.
No comments.
Mr. Pitt.
No further comments, Mr. Chairman.
I call for the vote. Second reading Lawrence County Ordinance 783. All in favor, raise your right hand. I believe it. Next thing on our agenda tonight is our administrative report. Mr. Ernie Sue.
Very quick, Mr. Chairman, the budget packets went out last week. They're due on the 20th of March, back to Ms. Kirk's office, and she will spend some time, I will spend some time developing a draft budget for FY 2016. We'll probably have that, I would think, in early April, and then there'll be a series of budget workshops held at that time. This year, like any other, will be tough with local government funding and other things. But we'll have a draft for you to look at, and then the chairman, of course, will schedule a series of meetings. We've had as many as 5 or 6 and as few as 3 over the years. I've got to be this year, maybe 8 or 10, but I think the document will be ready fairly quickly. I'd also like to introduce as we all know, Mr. Holland retiring in a couple of weeks after 25 plus years of service to Lawrence County. And as much as we hate to see him go, the county has hired a replacement for Mr. Holland, and that's Mr. Rob Russian. Now, Rob, I believe you're in the room somewhere, is that right? And, stand up, Rob, if you don't mind, let everybody get a look at you. Rob comes to us from the Department of Transportation. He starts next Tuesday on the 17th. He'll have some time to work with Mr. Holland and some transitional work, and we're delighted to have him, and we'll welcome to the county. I would urge everyone to speak to him if you can. I know it's not the best, maybe the best forum for that, but you'll have plenty of time to get acclimated and that sort of thing. Rob, we welcome to the county.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, that's all I've got.
We set aside a 15-minute period for public comment. We asked you not to exceed 5 minutes, but if you got a lot to talk about, we can listen. I ask anybody who wants to public comment, come forward.
Good evening, my name is Gerald Miller, and I live up in the Great Fort area in Ted Nash's district. I got a question.
Your name?
Gerald Miller.
Gerald Miller.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the Water Commission gentlemen that are here. You mentioned 6 cubic feet per second. Is that the draw that would exist today to serve the needs?
That's double what we need today.
Well, that's double what we need.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what will the capacity of the plant be?
That's 4 million gallons per day.
Okay. Okay, what, but the, what will the capacity of the plant be? Will it be enough for future anticipated need?
It's 50% of our current demand, so yes, it would meet immediate growth and it is expandable to meet future growth.
Okay. So that 6 cubic feet per second is really not what you need today, but that's double what you need today.
Double what we need today.
Okay.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'm not used to doing this. Council Chairman, thank you for listening to me. Janice Tribble. I take care of a cemetery on Buddy Knight Road. It's just off Route 25, about a mile down from where Joe's Burger King trash pile is. And the cemetery is right on the road, and it's about 3 feet above the road. And as the gully gets washed, it's starting to really wash into the cemetery. So that right now, I've got some coping that's 2 feet away from the edge. We do have a Revolutionary War soldier buried there. So I would like to know if there's any way that we could maybe hope in the future to get a retaining wall.
Where's it located?
Buddy Knight Road.
Scott, you know where that is?
Yeah, right, I know where it
Is that one our road?
is. It is, that's a county road, county maintained road.
Okay. We can certainly take a look at it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jane.
My name is James Hayes with Hayes Ambulance Service. I love this new ordinance that Lawrence County has proposed. I do pray for every citizen of this county with this resolution. It was a year ago that I stood in the same position and talked about a provider list or a provider network agreement. Not only did the provider network agreement not work and hasn't worked, and will be glad to prove that it has not worked, and has put these citizens' lives at risk even more, now we want to create an ordinance. I own 3 ambulances. I do have morphine, I do have Ativan. I have all the cardiac resuscitation drugs. I have the minimum loadout on an ambulance that Lawrence County has. There's other providers that are providing service in our county that does not even have the minimum of what Lawrence County has. So is that a service or is that a disservice? Calling a basic service before an ALS service, is that a service to the county or a disservice? I have 3 of these ambulances. If I fall right now in this courthouse, I have to call 911 under that ordinance and pay Lawrence County EMS for the ride to the hospital, and will not even be able to call my own ambulance that I already own that equipment in. Now, how fair is that? How is that right? You can't guarantee that the next citizen that calls 911 where their ambulance is coming from. It could be that I'm right beside them, but we're going to call 5 other providers before calling Hayes when I'm right next to them. How is that a service to this county? I've asked many times for this provider list, this new list since we've signed this agreement. I have yet to see where we stand on the list. I don't know if we're 4 behind the 8 ball, as Chad Burrell would put it, or if we're 10. I have no clue. Is that a service or a disservice? I have a major issue with 783, and I'll continue to have that issue. Lawrence County cannot sustain their EMS service with their current resources. So is it up to the taxpayer to pay more money, or can we utilize the private providers in the county? Are we sending the closest ambulance or the furthest away ambulance? Is the ambulance coming from Cross Hill to Clinton, or is the ambulance coming from Clinton to Clinton? I have a new building that's coming up in the city of Clinton, less than a mile away from Medic 2 in Clinton. When that ambulance leaves Clinton and a cardiac arrest comes out a mile away, or say the Presbyterian home, are we going to send Cross Hill, or are we going to send Hayes?
Got 1 minute.
That's fine. or are we gonna send Hayes? Does cardiac arrest mean anything to this county? That's all I got. I hope y'all think about it, and I hope the council will go against 783 at some point.
I'm Patty Knupp. I have been an EMS employee for 16 years, since 1998. I have lived here all my life. I ain't gonna tell you how many years, but I'll tell you how old I am. I want to thank the council members for the support through the years and for the future. We have never, in the years I've been here, won an award like we did this time. I have enjoyed working here. Once again, thank you, council members.
Anybody else? I'll close the public comment period and I'll entertain comments from council members. Mr. Pitt?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to address some of the concerns that Mr. Hayes brought out. And I did speak with Mr. Avery, the 911 Center Director, and I feel very confident that regardless of the uniform that a medic wears, that Mr. Avery will do his very best to send the most responsive ambulance service provider to that particular patient. I wish we had the capability and the technology to know where all ambulance providers were at one time. The county does not have that service, if I understood Mr. Avery correctly. But I do have the confidence in the 911 center that they will provide at least the best service possible to the residents of the county. No further comments, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Anderson?
I don't have any comments.
Mr. Jones?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I'd also like to comment on the 783 as well. And, you know, Lawrence County, most of us know this here, but Lawrence County is a huge county, 720 square miles and around 66,500 people. So the trick, what I'm looking at, is how we can utilize, you know, through private-public partnerships, how we can utilize those private services and without having to increase taxes and increase our service here in Lawrence. There's a lot of issues, I believe, that just simply if we could have an online procedural guide for citizens here in Lawrence County on how the EMS service functions and 911. I have full confidence in Mr. Burrell and Mr. Avery also. And so I think it's a matter of just answering those questions. Lawrence County takes patients to the hospital of their choice and things of that nature, but we need it in writing. That's all I've got at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Knight?
Well, I feel like 783 just says that EMS is our official ambulance services. If they were all busy, I'm sure Mr. Avery would send somebody else, but officially, 911, when you dial in, we expect them to get a Lawrence County EMS vehicle. And while I'm running my mouth, I want to say thank you to Stuart Jones for this system that we talk on now. At least we can hear each other. Reword you did, making this microphone there work, and us being able to hear people when they're talking.
And also, I keep forgetting to mention, I'm recording the meetings now, and so lawrencesc.org is the site I'm posting. If we have any county-related or city-related functions in Clinton or Lawrence and so forth, please feel free to send me those videos and we can post them on there. Thank you.
I'm not going to call any names. I've got all confidence in the world in our EMS system and our 911 system for anybody with any kind of emergency in this county. how many providers we got in Lawrence County right now doing transport work? 4 or 5?
Yes, we have 5 providers currently signed on to the
We
agreement.
got 5 providers, but we only got one telling us what's wrong with the system. But, I haven't had any phone calls from anybody in the public telling me that we got a problem with the EMS system. I don't think Mr. Seegers has had any calls about it. Usually if we have any problem with the EMS system, we're the first ones to know. And we try to take care of it. And I don't think the state of South Carolina is wrong. They voted our EMS system as the best for the state for 2014. And I understand somebody decided they wanted to call DHEC and sue them about it. But I ain't gonna call it names. But, we got a good system, it works. It's paid for by this county. Lawrence County EMS has never been in the business to make money. Providers make money, that's the way the private enterprise system works. Providers make money, I got no problem with that. But the Lawrence County EMS system never been in the business to make money. With that, we got next thing on our agenda, we got an executive session, we got a legal briefing and update on the personnel matter. I'm gonna say we're gonna take a 5-minute recess before we go into executive session. Entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to go into executive session for employment and legal matters.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor of executive session, raise your right hand. Appreciate everybody coming tonight. We won't be in executive session too long. We're out of executive session and we had no action taken. Mr. Seegers, I'd just like to ask one question. What they passed in Columbia this past week was sent to the Senate about the local government fund. Something about they gonna give us more money with the city.
Reasons, I think, this year's allocation with the possibility of going up maybe 2% over time. It might mean a little bit more money, but it's still.
It's a little bit different.
A little bit different,
but what they put forward.
It's still not 4.5%. The state law says it's what we provide now. It'll be, they're nickel and dime, and maybe get a little more, not what it ought to be. This county lost $985,000 a year over the last X number of years. You add that up, you get some big issues.
But has anybody got anything else? Cat, we stand adjourned.